All right, there we go. All right, peaceful greetings, folks. Islam, happy Monday, happy Moon Day to y'all. We like to thank y'all for joining us for another Intuition Monday. And for today's, kind of like to do sometimes for the end of the month, as we'll do a quote unquote celebrity chart. Ooh, celebrity, starstruck. Ah. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yay. Whoopie
yeah.
whoopie. Let me stop it.
What's a little thing to go when they blow the little.
A zoo.
But yeah. Let me see if they do any. Oh, there they go. You see how I do it? I don't even try.
You're hilarious, bro.
I'm just showing some. Show some love to 7HealStar today. As we, you know, go in for Oprah Winfrey. But I already know him, brother Sean Lee Mail. I'm here with the bro, and he is.
No, no.
All right, here with brother Hasan, still baked.
Yeah, but not all the rest of it.
And
Mm.
yes, I need to make sure I got that pulled. And guys, we're just gonna I think we're gonna be very brief with this one. So we'll just be looking over a few basics for Oprah's natal chart. We'll probably look at a little secondary progress, look at a solar return, probably check out the Fedaria, Zodiacal releasing. It might be it. I don't know what else we'll really look at for that. So let me go ahead and hit the screen share. All right. So yeah, here we go. He's got open chart.
All right, I'm back. Nah, that's my beloved mother mistress consort.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Solar couple.
Yeah, she don't even live yet. Okay. Yeah, bro. Yeah, brother Sean's right, man. Going in on Oprah Winfrey. And it was funny because brother Sean had this prepared many moon cycles in advance. And it was interesting to see how that Taraji P. Henson complaint about what she was compensated for and or not for the new Color Purple musical thingy that I still didn't watch because I don't know. It's just I'm indifferent when it comes to musicals. Some musicals I'll watch, and some when I hear it's a musical, I'm like, nah, I don't want to watch that. You
Ooh,
know what I'm saying?
come on, master. Let's sing about how we was slaves, master. I'm cool on that.
Cold hard boy to hit me. Let me stop, y'all. I don't know how that
I was
goes. Like,
working hard picking cotton.
yeah.
Master said, keep going, I didn't stop it.
like what? Like, however, I think it's
Yeah.
rather interesting though that brother Sean brought up Oprah Winfrey, and her solar return is the 29th January. So that's this day. And we see that her solar return, when we get into it, you'll see that her solar return actually happened about 4 minutes and 36 seconds before her natal time that we have here, if this is her actual natal chart. A lot of things checked out, as and a lot of things do check out as I look at Oprah's chart here. As we can see, if we just went into, the normal big three that most people know, sun, moon, and ascendant, she's a sun sign Aquarius, um, moon and ascendant Sag, right? We're going to get into some technicalities briefly and quickly and give testimony. And all we're going to say is for you guys to look out for some things over this next year for her, from her solar return 2024 to her solar return 2025. Because I see some things. All right. But let's talk about activations, right? So she has a nocturnal chart. Brother Sean, we know the nocturnal team is who?
Indeed. One sec, bro. I don't know who's this column.
Oh, go ahead, do your thing, do your thing. So Oprah, she was made manifest 29th January 1954, as it says here, allegedly, on a Friday. Kosciuszko, if that's how it's pronounced. Kosciuszko, or is it Kosciuszko? Okay, who knows? Only people near Mississippi State Republic could confirm its colloquial enunciation pronunciation pertaining to that. But to me, it just looks like Kosciuszko. Since it's a nighttime chart, nocturnal team is in full effect. Moon, Venus, and Mars. All right. The strongest in the chart is Mars. Mars is dominant there in Scorpio. In her Placidus 11th house, because Brother Sean has a tropical Placidus house system chart here. And of course, Mars is the strongest. Venus is the second strongest. Venus is in its own terms and its own face, right? Which I think is rather interesting. While in Mercury triplicity, with Mercury there in its own triplicity also. However, under the beams of the sun, Mercury is, but Venus is Cazimi, very interestingly, which to me, and I'm not being rude or mean, Oprah's not really an attractive face-having woman at all. So to me, it's like, okay, the sun is like, you can borrow this gold, right? Have this quote unquote fortune, but it'll come with the sacrifice of you not being attractive. So even though Venus is Cazimi, is in, close counsel in the heart, so to speak, pertaining to the sun, for me, it just goes to show that that's probably a bit of the sacrifice or whatever. Even though, Venus has accidental dignity also in the second house. Venus is pretty strong where it is in its own term and face. So, it's mastering itself while Cazimi, right? Which means, it's in close counsel with the sun between 0 degrees 0 minutes and 0 degrees 17 minutes, right? And as we can see, they're just about 8 minutes away from each other. So I think that's kind of like something to look at there. So when looking at her triplicity rulers, Moon is ruling her, as helping Mercury, right? Moon in the 11th is assisting Mercury in the second to roll over her 7th house, which is at an imitation and acting degree, right? So it just, lets me know that there's, sudden changes in, relating to people and partnerships based on obviously how she related to things based on her childhood. So, and that particular, relation is going to be based on, how she was with, if she's not an only child, her mother and her siblings, right? Moon and Mercury. And, the, family quality, so to speak, or, maybe even, property, reflecting on property and things, what she possibly, had growing up and reflecting on that and having the sudden changes take place. Maybe there was always, thinking of ways to relate to people through, imitation and acting. Maybe there were some things that she did imitate. Maybe she's got a very, elaborate imagination, Oprah, by looking at, Moon and Mercury ruling over her 7th Placidus house, because the Cancer Capricorn axis is intercepted within the 7th and 1st houses. All right. So that would make Jupiter and Saturn rule over the 1st house, while Mercury and Moon rule over the 7th. So with that being said, moving on from, the Moon, and this just lets me know that, there's obviously, and it's interesting too, because the Moon is 5 houses away from the Placidus house that it's ruling, right? 11 is 5th to the 7th. And none of us know Oprah to actually be an actual mother. never had any children of her own. So she's foreign to motherhood, foreign Sagittarius, which, you know, made me see some other things I'm going to bring up. But it's funny how Cancer is intercepted and Uranus is retrograde at a Scorpio degree in Cancer. So sudden changes, shock, so to speak, at the Scorpio degree, 20 degrees within Cancer. So that could speak to, you know, either never wanting children as far as her own, or really just being unable to, right? Or maybe this is someone who always, you know, even if she ever was with child or got pregnant, she was aborting them. And, you know, and we know there's not a lot of stuff out there like that about Oprah. And I think it's because she makes sure that when things that are shocking that be communicated, again, Mercury's under the beams in the second house. So you're communicating some things, Mercury, and, you know, she's balancing the shock of things going on in her life by, when I say balance, 19 degrees, Libra degree, shock, Aquarius, values is the second house. So, you know, when it comes to the, you know, shock value, she's finding a way to, you know, balance it out. Not too many things being said that's out there. Maybe even balancing it out also by just being someone who is known for talk show hosting. So issues that she probably dealt with was something that were topics within, you know, discussions for a particular talk show that she was quote unquote popular for in the 1990s. All right. So just looking at that, just looking at some natal energy, just looking at that, you know, the potential tendencies pertaining to that natal energy. All right. Venus in its own face and term there in the second house, having accidental dignity while, you know, they're also being Kazemi the sun. It just really lets me know that this is someone who is going to be able to control the narrative about her values, things that are, I think, are absolutely hidden because Venus also is at Scorpio degree. So I'm just really seeing, you know, and her sun is at a Scorpio degree. So I really think there's some things that are, you know, behind the scenes dealing with sex and death and rebirth that we further analyze some things about her. We will actually see that, you know, this is someone who is really good in making sure that the negative isn't put out there because of the possible, one, finances that's being utilized, but two, maybe the sacrifices of her own body to other beings in order to have a public narrative be as squeaky clean as it can possibly be. And this isn't not me, quote unquote, being biased in any way, shape, or form. Every time I read astrology charts, I also am relying on the insight and intuition, quote unquote, psychic downloads that I receive. And it's a lot of pictures I got when analyzing what we're about to go over. It's a lot dealing with women and children being put in really bad situations, or tough situations, or hard situations, or she's controlling those situations to a certain extent that if they're not incarcerated by, you know, chains and cells and stuff and restraints of some sort, then it's like this community that people can't go outside the confines of, and, you know, it's penalty of death kind of energy. And that leads me to the Mars there in the 11th house, right? 11th house is other people's children. 5th house is one's own children. 11th house is other people's children. And just with Mars and Moon, so close, actually, you know, past the conjunction amount, technically. Yeah, past the conjunction amount. What'd you say, bro?
I said, yeah, past that.
Yeah, but still in the 11th house. that moon and Mars together in the 11th house, like when it comes to other people's children or mothers and the children, there's just, I'm telling you, I promise you, I sat here, just speaking to myself, like, man, am I really going to just, well, I'm not being mean, rude, or malicious. I'm just going to say what I'm seeing, what glimpses I'm getting. And in some way, shape, or form, there's just this maternal abuse. There's some abuse with women. Sexual abuse is really, really strong here, honestly. And when it comes to other people's children, it also makes me think that, there is a bit of sudden changes that women and children may be forced to do. It's almost like a force to make changes in order to have a certain, lifestyle or something was promised a certain way based on people relying on the values of her status and then them having to actually deal with something that they didn't quite bargain for, honestly. So that's kind of what I see there. We're not doom and gloom astrologers. I just know that I did my best to find a lot of beauty in Oprah's chart. And I'm hard pressed to find some things. The only thing that really did check out was that second house. I'm like, I get why she was a talk show host or even did some type, just in broadcasting, period. Aquarius is broadcasting. Sun and, the Venus is Kazini, right? So that means Sun and Venus are within 17 minutes of each other. Mercury's there in the second house, and her part of fortune is there too. Technically, the third whole sign from, Sagittarius is Aquarius, even though the second house Placidus cusp is there, which is dealing with values, possessions, disposable finances or whatever. It's in the third house area, which is dealing with communications, some way, shape, or form. And then to have fortune there conjunct, just coming, it's so close to formal, so to speak, still within less than a degree, as well as the nebula. I see it's conjunct there also. But it's just a lot of energy of someone, because usually, I do a different kind of face reading with people. And when I saw Oprah's face growing up, and now that I'm much older now, it just lets me know this is someone who, in order to have some sense of good feeling within inside themselves, it's a lot of things being done behind the scene that I'm pretty sure if people, and when people find out, because it's going to happen within a year or three, people are going to find out some things that she thinks she has pretty well covered up and has her ass covered, but it's something she's missing, and it's going to come out. I made a prediction 5 years ago about the 19th February 2024 about women and children and their deprivation in some way, shape, or form, because I know that on that day is when Chiron and the North Node are going to be conjunct at 16 degrees, 45 minutes in Aries. Chiron and the North Node are going to be conjunct at 16 degrees, 45 minutes in Aries, I think on the 19th February 2024. 16 degrees is children with Aries. I think Leo is going to be on the rise at this time from near the Baltimore Corporation, Maryland State Republic. And it's going to be in trine with something else that's in Sagittarius, I think that's how it's going to go. And it's going to be really, I'm telling you, it's when you see this, right? When you see this trine, it's really a trine by sign more than anything. But when you see it, it's going to be like, hold on. This is about, deprivation of women and children. You know what I mean? And it's going to be some exposure. And I made this prediction 5 years ago. And I'm telling you, around the 19th February 2024, something's going to come out. Because another image that came to my head at that time, which is so funny, because the image I saw then was like women and children in a container being thrown in the ocean. That's what I saw. And what was interesting is my beloved mother, Mistress Consort, put on a movie, actually a few moon cycles ago, and there was a woman who was with child in a container that was thrown in the sea. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like it just blew my mind. I'm like, yo, that's just wild, right? And this is just me going in on the triplicities, right? Because after this, Brother Sean can go in on the zodiacal releasing, because we're going from triplicity to seeing what's being ruled there. So we're looking at that Mars. That Venus, right, is ruling over her 5th and 10th houses. So that's why I really think when it comes to, a way of valuing children for her standing in her status, never being an actual biological mother, I think that a lot of things were being used, finances, things of that nature, but it's a lot of other things that has happened, if not by her own hand, or maybe it's because it's her business. There is things that's going on with mistreatment of women and probably children in some way, shape, or form. And the legal things are going to pop up, because it's so funny with Libra being at, the midheaven being at Libra on a Leonian degree. 17 degrees is a Leo degree, back to children again. So it's making me think of children and justice. And then the 5th house cusp is at 14 degrees within Taurus. So that's just the valuing children, or children's value. So it could be, child labor, overworking women in a way where they're just someone, if it's not child labor, children are being sold from the women who are just being those who are just to have sex, so children can be sold. And I know a lot of people probably don't want to look at Oprah that way or think she's involved in stuff like that. However, it's the natal chart, just kind of just looking at that. So it's like, but it's not the end all be all. We're gonna look at her progress chart, her solar return chart, and we're going to speak about the lunar returns from solar return 2024 to solar return 2025. And you'll watch it unfold. I'm trying my best to hold back from saying everything right now. Mars is ruling over her 11th Placidus house as well as her 4th, right? Which again, not only speaks to, a work amount of houses, so to speak. They're 6 houses away. Again, we're talking children, right? 17 degrees for the 4th house cusp. So it's a Leonian degree. It's just so interesting. The 2 houses that we analyzed all are basically the same thing, right? Venus is ruling the 5th and 10th. Mars is ruling the 11th and 4th, and they're opposite of each other. That what they're ruling, so to speak. Like 10th and 4th are in reflection, 5th and 11th are in reflection, and so again, there's this strong theme dealing with justice and children. Very strong theme, to the point where it's like, think about a young Tandy Newton playing Beloved, and the things that the themes of children and justice in that. You know what I mean? Just really think about how that theme pops up often. And so I don't know if Oprah's going to do a book or something this year, or something's going to get released in terms of that maybe try to take a lot of negative energy off of her by trying to put everyone's attention on either this book or this other presentation, like past this color purple stuff. We're talking about really about her solar return year. And I can honestly see that even if nothing happens within the next 3 years, by 3 years from now, there's going to be a lot of things that she has not prepared for that she thought she has. And it's going to be a real sudden change and a shift in power, where she might have controlled a certain aspect of her life that kept her to be out of, not have so much negative publicity, but someone else is going to be in control of that. And she's going to have to deal with the embarrassment like Bill Cosby. That kind of energy. So going over the triplicity, Mars being really strong and the most dominant out of all the triplicity planets, ruling over the 4th and the 11th houses. This really lets me know when it comes to women and other people's children, or mothers and other people's children, or actually property and other people's children. I think that, there may be some energy of control that a lot of people may not comprehend about Oprah Winfrey, that she actually enjoys to an extent where she might not even have a conscience really about who's it's hurting, because she's just focused on her bottom line. And again, this is no disrespect, but at the same time, I don't fucking know Oprah. I don't really care and give a shit really about this woman. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be honest with you. However, at the end of the day, and us analyzing this to just show you guys what we can demonstrate as far as looking at certain charts, and this is her solar return today. I'm just saying, these are some things that normally you guys know. I'm usually like, oh, this is beautiful. That's this, and that, and that. And I'm just like, I can't shake these images in my head. I keep seeing women and children being treated very badly. Like, why do I keep seeing that? It's not a good look. And I'm only was looking at these images as I'm analyzing Oprah's chart. Brother Sean, what do you see in her zodiacal releasing, bro?
Let's see. Blah blah blah. So we want to do a spirit. Okay, yeah, spirit's cool. So, for spirit, looks like currently she is in.
You're not sharing that particular screen if you thought you were.
Oh, it's not showing.
Yeah, it's just we just see the wheel. Yeah.
Let me get that fixed in so everybody can see. Y'all all can see.
So, well,
let me hit new share. Let me just share the whole thing. All right. Yeah, you seeing it now, bro?
Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah, so she's in a level 1 that I could release in an Aquarius, which that doesn't end till October 3rd, 2044. But when you get to actually look in, she's in a level 3 period, in a Piscean period until February 1st. So she's definitely about to wrap that up. So maybe she's been, traveling here, maybe the bodies of water of some sort. Right? Or maybe she's been like featured in some international or foreign podcasts or television shows, because we know Jupiter is in her foot, in her natal 6, right? So that's been going, and let's see, she's actually in a Scorpio on the level 4 until the 31st, which is a build up here. So yeah, I'm just wouldn't be surprised to really see some things come out. And she's in a Cancer period, so Cancer deals with real estate, homes, quote unquote, on the real estate, family, mothers. It's just, man, like you was saying, bro, like I just really can't not look past that. Maybe some things will come out, maybe she'll repent for some things that has been done in the past, but I'm not sure how much redemption can really be done for that. But
it's
it is what it is. All right, that's a level 2, so she's actually in the cool down. Um, if I was actually, let's see, you said she was in her nodal for Daria, which is interesting, until 2027. So this is all about, we know destiny, purpose, and her natal node is at what, 23? I think that's what it was. Let me see. 23 Capricorn. Yeah, so it's dealing with like governmental authority. So yeah, I'm just really, like a lot of behind the scenes things for her. Whether it's for harmony or disharmony, either or, depending on, not doom and gloom, but we can see the energies that people can take something to either be productive or counterproductive um, to things. So she's in her, nodal cycle. And to 2027, so she can really just, mm, it'd be good to have a change of heart, Oprah, on the things and structures that you're doing, for the betterment of mankind. Um, yeah, I think that's really it for the Zodiacal. So quickly did for Daria. Um, like I said, the nodal period. So that's all about Capricorn. And we know that the transit nodes are in, well, the north nodes in Aries right now. So by sign, it's squaring her natal north node. So I'm just getting that, yeah, change for the better could be difficult for some, but I'm just thinking her position. Um, she can utilize her wisdom and foundation to start counteracting the things that have been done for that. And let me see. Let me bring up her secondary progressed. All right.
What's interesting about that Zodiacal releasing all the rulers, right? It was, again, the signs were Aquarius, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, which would bring traditionally and contemporarily speaking Saturn, Uranus, Moon, Jupiter, Neptune, Mars, and Pluto. And in her natal chart, they are taking up the 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th, and 11th houses, which would make me think like service contracts and debts pertaining to our public image and what's shared about it. That seems like a really strong theme, just even in this moment, because on level 4, like you said, it'll be past level 4 by the 31st. But I think that is something that are looking at, that may be a theme that plays out, since that's the Zodiacal releasing as far as her solar return is concerned. And so, like service contracts and debts pertaining to our public image and what's being shared about it, I'm telling you that's what I see coming out as far as from Oprah's solar return 2024 to solar return 2025. Yeah, bro, you're going in on the secondary progress chart, which is it's an interesting secondary progress chart.
Yeah. As you know, like I said, she started out as a Sagittarius ascendant or rising, and now she is moved to a Piscean. So still ruled by Jupiter. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And now her natal Jupiter has now progressed, still in Gemini, but it's moved out of that retrograde. And the secondary progress part of spirit is actually conjunct that natal Jupiter. So I wonder if she's like about to like co-produce or be behind another TV show or some kind of broadcasting channel. Does she still do the Oprah Winfrey show? I don't even know. Is that still going
One
on?
thing I kind of think, if it's outside of interviews, one thing's for sure, two things for certain, if it still exists, is her Oprah Winfrey Network.
Right,
What would
maybe
that
somebody
be?
help us out and look, see if the Oprah Winfrey Network or if the Oprah Winfrey show's still going, or maybe, she'll be able to kind of do like some reruns like the Price is Right type, right? Um,
Okay, that's something.
and she's got an exalted sun actually at the exaltation degree, 19 degrees Aries, um, which is a Libra degree. So once again, Oprah just having the opportunity to really be a harmonic leader and actually step up and do what's right. Maybe bring some justice to those who are in need of justice or who are in need of Jesus, right? Jesus
Mm-hmm.
means justice. For that energy, let's see. Her Mercury is actually in the fall right now, right? We know Mercury is exalted in Virgo, some would like to say, oh, Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. So that being in Pisces, but it's a good time to just write and reflect. So I remember you saying, bro, like maybe she's writing a book of some sort, or maybe even I wonder if she's ever got interested into like composing music. Huh. Or
That would be interesting. That's a little known thing about her, but it's funny because Color Purple was a musical.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This new Color Purple is a musical. I guess I'll give it a shot and try to stomach it, but I'm really not a huge fan of the idea of Black people. I'm not a huge fan of Black people unless they're actually the real Black people, like the pale skins. But I'm not a huge fan of Black minded people. That is unconscious Moors, right? People with copper tone skin that call themselves Black. I'm not really interested in their things. You know what I mean? And it's not because I'm, Clayton Bigsby. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, you want to see my face? Quiet power. That's not what I'm saying. As much as I've studied to a certain extent that I know how detrimental it is for the copper tone people to keep holding on to slavery and Black and African American and Native American Indians and stuff like that. When I and Brother Sean just read to you guys 2 Fridays ago that the quote unquote Indians are the pale skins wanting to have birthright ties to the mothers here at the North Gate. And so that's where that term comes from, the Indians are those pale skins, those cross-sexualizing pale skins, which has nothing to do with the Aboriginal, indigenous, copper-toned Moabites, Moors. It's so much trash out there when it comes to Moors now that people are just trying to, make it seem like it's just a religious belief group. Like, no, that's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making, even in terms of what we're seeing here with Oprah, it seems like she thrives. Her, your Tyler Perry's, your Lee Daniels, any these beings who they make finances the best way that they can off of misclassification of the Aboriginal indigenous people here at the North Gate. So they make their finances off of misclassifying Moors. They make their finances by keep pushing the narrative that Black people are something that actually exists when they absolutely don't. There's no such thing as Black people except the pale skins. The pale skins are the actual Black people. Those pale skins that call themselves white, they're not. However, they are the Indian, because this ain't India. But that lets you know that they have a thinking that is out of place when you're looking and observing that portion pertaining to the recorded past, respectfully saying. So in righting our wrongs, it would be best, for us to stop doing Negro musicals. You told Harpo to hit me. Let's stop that. Let's stop it. Black being Black people, the copper tone Aboriginal indigenous people who are Moors that are misclassifying themselves as Negro, Black, colored, African American, Native American, Indian, and all that BS. The only time Native American Indian can be utilized for your benefit is to be able to communicate to the occupiers of the federal, state, and local corporate administration for them to be able to, begin to respect you because their retarded thinking sees it like that. A lot of these federal, state, and local beings do not read, do not study. And so, sometimes you have to utilize terms they understand in order to have them under the hypnosis necessary for your benefit. Period. However, I yield, bro. Secondary progression chart.
Dating, yeah. Oh shit. Pisces now, so still Jupiter turn ruled. That'd be first and natal fourth. So once again, back to like foreign homes. I wonder if we'll see or come across either that she been has a bunch of like foreign homes and like places, or she'll be looking to invest, quote unquote, into those foreign places. Let's see, Chiron. I mean, it's still there. Saturn's still slow. She's actually got a dignified moon. Moon is in Cancer, making a separating trine to her natal part of fortune. So, wonder if she received some gift of some sort, possibly, with that being at a. And it's actually Luna's actually trying her natal Saturn. Um, the secondary progressed moon. So, ooh, that'd be really interesting. I wonder what 9 degrees Cancer is because it makes me want to look it up.
And looking at her network shows, she's doing some things pertaining to Oprah as far as 25 seasons that it was and things of that nature. But I don't think it's an active talk show. But she may be doing some discussion with something called Where Do We Go From Here, I guess, maybe. You know what I'm saying? I guess a conversation led by Oprah. But yeah, just
she's gonna have to
Ayanla.
eat, man. Like, like with these quote unquote celebrities like Tyler Perry and Oprah, like I guess they might call them like gatekeepers. I think they'll be best to really invest in some young and upcoming producer and talk
Yeah.
shows, especially, with her having the resources and the networks to really provide and open up things. But, I'm just
Not if
really
Albion sons and daughters or other unconscious Moors that have some type of quote unquote illusion power over them, as far as, they may be so called celebrities in the public eye, but they may actually be sex slaves themselves to people who are quote unquote more powerful than them. So all they can do is continue to push the Black narrative and be Black and be African American and Negro. They can only be this falsehood for the sake of them having food, clothing, and shelter the way that they have it. Because if they don't, then they probably have to deal with the pain of being, raped by more people than they normally are, than they normally, consent to for whatever, financial things that they need, but or that they want, financial things that they want. And I get it. It's always a tough conversation because it's based in speculation of us not being there in those rooms when her, Tyler Perry, and other so-called gatekeepers are, being, full of other people's body parts inside of them and or whatnot. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I don't really give a fuck because I don't participate nor care to. You know what I'm saying? However, it allows them to be looked at as people who can do certain things. However, it's what are they doing? Who are they actually helping? You know what I'm saying? But another thing that Oprah's Life Class or whatever, I guess that's another show that she may host or whatever within the so-called, Oprah Winfrey Network. But yeah, man, continue saying what you were saying, bro. I'm listening.
Yeah. Let's see. Saturn's in an eighth. It's just a lot of internal transformations. Like I said, we don't really know, but people know, but we can't put our finger on it. So it's just saying that Jupiter's ruling that chart in the third. So this is now being able to expand her communications in the local community, being able to give back, maybe give or set up the means for the children to have like writing workshops and public speaking classes and all those various things to bring a sense of balance and beauty and just once again writing and communication. Venus conjunct her own part, Eros. Um, so actually that's some accidental dignity there in that second, and Sun's in the first. Yeah, she's like having a new outlook of herself.
Word.
That's kind of about it. If you got anything on the secondary progressed, or I can take it to the
That T square was the one that kind of pointed, I think you spoke on it. Sun T square the nodes. And we know that, Uranus is there too. And then when you bring up her solar return chart, we know that in her solar return chart, Mars and Mercury are part of that T square too. But it just really makes me think that when it comes to her image and how she is exalted, her self-image, right? Because that sun is exalted in Aries in the first house. Look at that dignity. Even though under the dispositorship of traditionally speaking Jupiter and contemporarily speaking Neptune, and Jupiter, of course, there in Gemini 21 degrees, which is a Sagittarian degree, which is interesting. And Neptune's at a Piscean degree. So they're at degrees even that support their nature. However, in the houses 3 and 7, again, it deals with this children energy. Could be creativity, right? Communication and partnership, right? And we just spoke about the so-called own network and things of that nature. But looking at Jupiter and Neptune in position 3 and 7, coming to her Aries degree ascendant, even though it's at Pisces, 25 is the Aries degree. What I can say is when it comes to her self-image and the things that are communicated, I think what is going to happen is, people are going to keep going along to get along, but I give it 3 years or less, man. In 3 years or less, that's going to come to a screeching halt. There's going to be sudden changes in the balance of things. That's that Uranus conjunct that South Node in Cancer in the 4th house. Is just there's going to be a sudden change in the balance of things for her, right? And I think a lot of things that have been outside of the public eye is going to either surface in a way where it's going to create a lot of public ridicule, or there's going to be a different movement of some sorts that take certain attention off of things that she's a part of. But I don't think it's going to be well hidden at all. A lot of people are going to see it and it's going to be spoken about, like seriously. So with that, I guess we can go and look at the 3rd level now, bro, which would be her solar return chart. All right. Percentage just, a minute and a degree off from her natal list. Again, that Mars and Mercury, they're in Capricorn. Part of that T square now with the North Node. And it's funny because she's in the North Node for Daria, right? Right? Mm-hmm. Right? Natal Saturn there in the Scorpio at 9 degrees, right? Very Sagittarian degree with transit Saturn applying trine to, her solar return Saturn is applying trine to her natal Saturn, as well as secondary progress Saturn, because it's a slower moving planet. And we're only looking, secondary progress chart is just 70 days after she was, manifest. So with us actually looking at these things, secondary progress moon is pretty favorable though, bro. It's trying that natal, coming off of a trine with that natal Saturn and secondary progress Saturn, as well as the solar return Saturn, coming off of trines with it. So, however, that just lets me know that in the areas of partnering with other women or mothers and things of that nature, it's coming to a point where there's about to be this, I don't want to say this, but this sudden change that's happening, or this feigned effort to connect with women, specifically the women that are mothers, or something dealing with motherhood. I just watch, man, just watch. And I'm telling you, I trust the image of women and children in containers being dumped in the ocean isn't something that has been happening. If it has been, that it will come to a point where it is stopped tremendously. However, I think it's going to take someone to be put in a position that is not on her payroll or doesn't really care about her image and how she looks, all for the sake of the truth coming to fruition. Kind of like, you know, Detective Hawkins in the Griselda series on Netflix. like I think that's kind of how it's going to be. However, when analyzing this particular chart too, bro, remember what we saw between the solar return Uranus, secondary progressed Uranus, and the solar return moon?
Mm-hmm.
That's double sextile energy with the trine between the solar return moon and solar return Uranus. Right?
Yes.
Just looking at all that trine energy, and it's separating. All those trine energies are separating with this hard T-square energy that's kind of taking place, which just lets us know.
Too.
What'd you say?
Said in that grand Earth trine energy.
Mm-hmm. Which
Uranus.
it's just letting me know this is her last 3 years to really get it together, right some wrongs. Because after these 3 years, and she goes into that south node for Daria, yeah, she's gonna probably feel lonely, feel some things resorting back, things reminding her of her childhood or other things in the past and things of that nature. And it's gonna be interesting to observe. However, I want you guys to make your observations. Just pay attention. Stuff pops up in the so-called news or on your social media pertaining to Oprah outside of the Taraji P. Henson thing. I just think that was just the result, especially of Saturn transiting her north node. Her part of fortune. You see how her solar return Saturn is at 6 degrees Pisces, and her natal fortune is at 4 degrees Pisces. So as that stuff was happening, Saturn was just coming off of a conjunction with it. So it's a lot of separating aspects that are taking place, even though the moon is applying today, and it already went past, but moon applying trine to that Mercury, right? In terms of the grand trine, the Earth trine that you were speaking on, bro. Like, it just really lets me know, that since all these things are separating, it has made its peak, and now it is a cooling down period. And if that cooling down happens a lot faster and quicker, you guys will see some things within this year that you're like, whoa, how did the bros know that? And we're not, wishing anything bad on anyone. It's just that when we look at these charts, I know for myself, I look at these charts and I start having these psychic downloads. Over these years, I've learned not to ignore them no matter how much I like them or not. And just, speak what it is and point out the fact that, there's just a lot of things that have been hidden from the public eye pertaining to her standing that is about to come to the forefront. It's interesting how that solar return ascendant is coming off of a conjunction of her secondary progress midheaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's another separating aspect. I'm just all right, y'all will see. You know what I'm saying? When y'all see this separating energy that's taking place, it's going to almost, like I said, it's going to almost have a type of vibe of that Bill Cosby effect. I'm not saying Bill Cosby did anything wrong. I'm saying the public humiliation that took place. I don't think that's going to be avoided. As much as she could try to do it, I think some things are going to come out, or people are going to get a whiff of some things, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, look at this." You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, right? Um, so if we're looking at our solar return, we're just going to mention the lunar returns, and I'm just going to speak about the lunar returns in brief without us opening any lunar return charts, because I had looked ahead and looked at her lunar returns for this year. She's experiencing 14 lunar returns, right? And the 14 lunar returns that she's experiencing, from solar return 2024 to solar return 2025, the main thing that stuck out was about women, children, a little bit of finance, and more legal, so-called justice issues pertaining to the topic of women and children. I don't know how much it may be trying to, because one thing I did see when looking at the lunar returns, just to go in on it briefly, because I and Brother Sean want to go in on something else, so I just want to speak to it briefly. It almost made me think about adjusting, even if, let's say she has an astrologer, she consults an astrologer, and she knows in 3 years things are going to get uncomfortable. So she's moving things around right now. And in moving things around, probably even if there is like a baby farm, right? A farm of women that are only there to have sex, have babies, so those babies can get sold and or placed somewhere, so to speak, under the feigned effort of, oh, we're just, helping people who couldn't have children, they can get babies because these women are willing to be surrogates or willing to, be naturally inseminated, if not artificially inseminated, to, then have children for other people who can't, type energy. I just see that there's going to probably be a moving of this so-called baby farm, right? It's going to be a moving. It's like maybe, having another place for it. I have flashes of underground stuff in my images, but also I kind of had a flash of just moving the operation of whatever it is from one location to another for the sake of comfort. Because I think things are going to, like I said, are already a little uncomfortable, but they're going to be really uncomfortable for Oprah in 3 years. Really, really uncomfortable. To think to the point where I don't think she's not going to be able to keep everybody quiet. That's quiet now. To a certain extent, it's going to be more people saying things. While we segue, I have Brother Sean, give his final thoughts on Oprah Winfrey before we go into some Synastry with her and Stedman. To just, even discuss Synastry a certain way. And we can start with Oprah's chart, because I would like to speak on, some things we said we would analyze, Brother Sean. The Brother Derek Blash Bay says, peaceful greetings, Brother Hasan and Brother Sean. Peaceful greetings, Brother Derek. Brother Maurice Hall Bay, pardon me, says, great mooring to all, indeed, Brother Maurice. Brother Tyro says, peace and love, everyone. Peace and love to you, Brother Tyro. Mother Janelle Blash L says, peaceful greetings. Peaceful greetings, beloved mother. And our beloved mother Sahar L says, peaceful greetings to everyone. Peaceful greetings to you, Mother Sahar. Zion Law School says, Islam Wars, Islam Zion Law School. And Mother Sahar was given laughter. Some portions, I'm pretty sure, of what we were speaking on, right? You guys already know, whenever I, analyze astrology, me and Brother Sean, and predictions are made, I know it can be spooky when they actually happen a certain way, or you see it come to fruition, but don't be spooked. Again, this is the universal laws of nature as shown in the 12 signs of the zodiac, and we are just being ourselves, honoring our ancient foremothers and forefathers so that our days are long upon the earthland, right? So Brother Sean has a whole sign house chart here, which is, at the foundation of our thinking. Even though we may look at Placidus, we're always thinking whole sign. So I'm gonna yield the floor to Brother Sean. What do you want to go in on here, bro?
Oh, you said you're gonna get the lunar returns going.
Oh yeah, I already kind of spoke on it. Just speaking of the fact that that's what it is. You want to add your wisdom on the lunar returns from what you may see?
Oh,
What you
what?
saw?
Man, all I can say is really just to do the right thing, man. That's the only thing that can really come up for me. And even though, like I said, my freaking ear has been like vibrating this whole time. Yeah, do the right thing. That's all I can. It's just like that movie that that Spike Lee movie, and with the lunar return. I think the first one was what? Um, oh yeah, it was like it had her ascendant on the rise, wasn't it? For that first lunar return after the solar return.
The first lunar return was her 11th house on the rise, Libra. That's why I was speaking about, justice with other people's children, right? If we were looking at the one she came in on, from January 7th, 2024,
Mhm.
I think Libra was on the rise in that chart, which is her 11th house, 11th whole sign house.
Yeah,
10th Placidus, but 11th whole sign. And I just, that's why I was like, yo, something's about to pop up with, so-called legal system contracts, children, things of that nature. But go ahead, bro. Did I get
yeah.
that right? I got
Well,
that right, right? As far
it,
as the lunar return, the lunar return that was already active on her solar return today. Libra's on the rise, right? Let me go and double check. For January 7th, 2024, I think Libra was on the rise for her. If I'm not mistaken.
if I could do the previous one.
It's funny, I had it up and it went away.
Yeah.
Whoops, I didn't even do that.
But yeah, it's just interesting because I'm thinking about that Jupiter being direct and her secondary progressed, and it's like, papers, text, and communications. That could be an expansion of it, or yeah, do the right thing. That's all I really can say, yo, is repent, 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 redeem
It's long.
ye unknown actions that you may appear as a angel to the public, but is a quote unquote devil or those skeletons in the closet, that are
Mm-hmm.
some point, will show themselves. So, good chart. Like I said, we do what we do here. Um, but at some point, it's like, am I just gonna ignore what I see or feel in order to? Oh, they said that, but it's like, we're gonna
Right.
tell you how it is, and like I said, Mars, both her quote unquote malefics in the whole sign 12th. Yeah, that just really gives fucking secret activity, institutions and things you'd probably know about. It's like you meeting somebody or one of your friends telling you about some shit somebody did, and it's like, oh, I would never expect that from them. And, it's like kind of the same thing with really celebrities or anyone. It's like we don't know. All we can do is feel and get visions, and unless they come out and say it. But I think most of these people have an oath and do their best to make sure things are kept secret because it would crush their public standing, their public image, and there would be no return back from that. And just even with a lot of people favorite celebrities, I think that people wouldn't be able to let go of the image they've become used to, even with reality. Just like when it comes to the truth, pertaining like to their dogma, beliefs, and religion. It's like they'll be presented the truth, but they've been so accustomed to their dogma beliefs they can't let go. Even though they've been told and know better, they just still mentally cannot grasp or let go of the fallacies and lies they have built upon for themselves. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting how Mars is the dispositor for the greater malefic. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the malefic in the nighttime chart, the most malefic planet in the nighttime chart is Saturn. and it's joy while under the dispositorship of a dominant Mars. And again, that's just 12th house deals with the Latin word carcer, C-A-R-C-E-R, is Latin, which is the root to the term incarceration. So I'm thinking some type of isolation, maybe too, it could be something Zen. Maybe it's something dealing with meditation and yoga and helping people find closure. However, 12th house is 6th to the 7th. And 12th house for me is the health of the relationship, because, 6th house deals with health. So the health of the relationship, because the relationship is 7th house, then it just lets me know that's dealing with the bedroom to a certain degree. And within the bedroom, Saturn's having its joy, which means maybe there's some, discipline, restraint, some things of that nature, but also some very active, sudden changes in it too. Some foreign yet active, sudden changes, in a disciplined fashion where there's some type of control going on in that area. Maybe that's something she dealt with. Maybe Oprah had to deal with, being sexually mistreated and things of that nature. Or maybe that's something she actually appeals to. She actually, enjoys what doesn't want that out there like that. But this chart is saying a lot. Even to have her moon where it is, if we're looking at it, like looking at this whole sign chart, and between her moon and her ascendant is Antares or Antares, Rastaban, Galactic Center, and Synastry is just, that's a lot of, like, Oprah's big three is very masculine. She's got a air sign sun and a fire sign moon and ascendant. That's masculine energy. Air and fire are masculine. Water and earth are feminine. So it just lets me know that there's some dominant and dominating energy that's there, right? We're going into now Synastry. I think we want to make Stedman the inner wheel, honestly, bro. Yeah, because he's the elder of the two, right? So we're gonna have Stedman, which is someone we've known. We don't know if that's Oprah's husband, boo thing. We don't really know. But what we would like to do is analyze something in Synastry just to give an idea. Of course, we can look to see what the inter aspects are, which is what we're always interested in. But for him to be a triple water trinity, which means his trinity is feminine and her trinity is masculine, I'm just sitting here like, what do they have outside of drinking and sex? That's just what I thought when I first saw it. Like, I yield, bro. Go in, bro, because I know what you want to express about the Synastry as far as, what houses we can analyze for both of them singularly, and then see how those houses align within, each other's charts.
Right, so I'm gonna just click back to his chart, and looks like his 5th house is Pisces, his 7th house is Venus, and his 8th house is Mercury. So if we look for Jupiter, which is actually 12 houses away from the 5th, here at 19 degrees, 13 minutes Pisces, we see he has a not so good Venus, right? Being in Aries as she naturally rules, Libra and Taurus. And that 8th house being on Mercury, being on Gemini, ruled by Mercury, and his 4th house. I wonder if for some strange reason that Oprah reminded him of his mother or some dominant mother figure in his life. I don't know.
Which kind of speaks to that Venus being, even though Venus is exiled in Aries, remember Venus in a man's chart is 9 times out of 10 the type of woman he desires, and that's a masculine Venus, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And we just were speaking on how Oprah has the, sun in Aquarius, moon and ascendant in Sag. So that's masculine energy. So maybe that you're right. Like, I'm just saying, I think you're spot on there. You know what I mean? To bring that up, bro. I yield.
Man.
Still think you did a lot of drinking though. Let me stop.
Oh yeah, the Piscean moon. Yeah.
What with the sun there too, with the Mercury there, man? I'm telling you, man. That's why I told you I thought, like, to a certain extent, like maybe she tried to control him not drinking. Like, why don't you just be sober while we go out? And he was probably thinking to himself, like, if I gotta look at that face, I need to something. I'm just saying, man. I'm saying I don't think Oprah is a face nor a body, honestly. So it's like, this could have been a, I'm just taking one for the team, but it's like, there's no one to wingman type energy. But anyway, I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't want to sound like I'm being mean and judging Oprah's looks. I'm just saying, a flurge is a flurge. But anyway, go ahead. I yield, bro.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because they both their Mars is in a sign that Mars rules. Like his Mars is in Aries, her Mars is in Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Venus is ruling the seventh, so Venus. It just give me like it's dreamy, but maybe like I said, we was talking about how Oprah had that bold energy. Maybe it was just some bold energy about her that he liked. And if I bring back up Oprah's chart, I mean, her natal Venus and his would be in like a applying sextile. It's just I wonder what's his 11th. Let's see, his natal 11th was on Virgo. It just gives it like they were maybe introduced of some sort, or I don't know.
Work together, that or
Or
on
as
the
a friend.
job, was kind of buddies, maybe. He was the guy that worked but kept the canteen of liquor, kept the flask,
Little flask, yeah.
kept the flask of whiskey. Good, I yield.
Right, because let's see, Oprah's Jupiter is in Gemini, and he doesn't have any really air sign type ordeals, but let's see, yeah.
He's got that dominant Saturn, that exalted Saturn. Oh, that's what you talking about as far as air energies on.
Yeah, for that Jupiter, but yeah, that
Gotcha.
Saturn and Neptune is in the air sign, but
Oh, you talking about for Oprah's Jupiter, because Jupiter in a woman's chart is the man she desires. So
mhm.
maybe it's that. Maybe it's that Saturn in Libra, bro. Maybe she likes his judgment.
Yeah, exalted, yeah. So maybe that's just like this is giving me like how they met one day. It was like maybe he was the leader of a group or some kind of team or something, and she had seen him, and maybe someone was able to introduce him. Um, because let's see, for him, Venus would be that. So her Venus hits his looks like natal third house. Um, so let's see. I wonder when they did meet. I guess we'll have to Google that too. Like I
Or he
wonder if
walked
he saw
by
an
and her
ad or
tire
a
was
paper.
flat. You
And
heard me?
he said, "Man, I gotta pump it up." Hey, hey, yo.
Like, hey, your
Let's see.
tire flat. Matter of fact, look, you got a jack back here. I don't know. What do you mean a jack? Look, let me see. Poppy Trump. Okay, you got a spare tire here. Okay, look, let me change the tire real quick, young lady. And then he got on his way, and she's like, "But hold on, what's your name? Do you have a number? Maybe we can meet for lunch." And then it was like, that's a possibility. No, but go ahead, bro. I get it.
He's like, "Let me take another sip." All right, you start to look better every sip. All right, well,
Hey, yo, uh, it's funny because it's probably true. Go ahead, I yield.
and let's see, yeah, and it looks like Oprah's Saturn is actually sitting in his natal 12th, pretty close to his ascendant. So it seemed like a he lets me do what I do. It just kind of just seems fitting, for his mindset or mentality. Like I said, he's got a Pisces sun. It just seems like he was able to, she was able to kind of fulfill his fantasies of being some authority figure, right? And her Uranus is in a trine with his Jupiter, his North Node, and the Sun, weak with Mercury there. So I guess like the thrill of a rush, like the thrill of it, kind of like that one song. She was able to give like the thrill of life. Um, Man, I actually kind of want to look that up now because it just seems like some thrill and because let's see, Oprah's Uranus is in his ninth. Yeah, it
Yeah,
just seems like to live out the fantasies, or be able to bring in like new fantasies with that.
yeah, probably, small orgies. But I know that Uranus is in her seventh. Her natal Uranus is in her seventh, which deals with relationships. In his natal ninth, so this is definitely could have been a long distance relationship, or could have been long distance in terms of what both wanted and where they had to meet at certain things or whatever, or do certain things. So possibly it could have just been more than them interacting in coition or coitus activities. So could have been sex with multiple people, especially with him having both. Usually, when I see people with Mars and Venus in the same sign within conjunction, they're going to come off like freaky deakies, just a little bit. Maybe they be trisexuals, like Trick Daddy said. I mean, stuff. I'm just saying, man. You
Oh
know,
my goodness.
just saying, respectfully. Um, so we looked at we looked at the sector zodiacal release, and we looked at the Fedaria. Perfection wise, right? We know Oprah is dealing with 11th house perfection also, so just spoke to that too, and us analyzing their synastry. Looking at their fifth, seventh, and eighth, and we know that there's just this energy. Like with Stedman, we were looking to Jupiter and Neptune and Mars and Venus, and with Oprah it was Mars, Venus, and the Sun, right? And what I'll definitely say is, for me overall, it just kind of speaks to long term boyfriend girlfriend type energy, being able to link and do, it's like, well, I trust you, trust me, we've known each other this long, so yeah, we just link up, chill, drink, do whatever other intoxicating things we like to do, have sex, and then peace. I'll holler at you. I'm going to go back and jump on this flight, go fishing or whatever. You know what I mean? Kind of like type energy. However, the point of us bringing this up how we did was not to ridicule Oprah. What we're doing is we're showing you guys a bit of our mindset and how we do the natal chart analysis. And we want you guys, we need you guys actually for yourselves to schedule your Mirror AstroLiteracy sessions and get your mental magician reports, right? We're both qualified to do both. It's just that when we promote it, we say get your Mirror Astrology session with Brother Hasan Ghazi Obey, and get your mental magician report with Brother Sean Alim L. All right. As far as the initial things, guys, don't be afraid. So many other things you've been spending your finances on. However, first and foremost, I'd like to acknowledge and thank those that have gotten Mirror Astrology sessions, have gotten mental magician reports, right? As far as from either, me with the, Mirror, and with Brother Sean, the mental magician report. Right. I haven't done a mental magician report for anyone yet because I just feel like you guys need to go to Brother Sean for that. Right. That's what he came up with. He let me know how to do them. However, I think you guys need to really check it out. When you really see what a mental magician report is, and how it'll bring to some light a lot of why you think the way you think and move the way that you move, actually. And, you know, it'll put into perspective even those areas within your life that Mercury rules over, depending on which house cusp is on Gemini and Virgo. All right. So thank you all for getting your Mirror AstroLiteracy sessions and mental magician reports. And thank you to those that donate when you can donate. Always make sure to, you know, there's 2 Cash Apps that are usually up in the description. And if you donate to both, please, we encourage it. If you donate to one and your intention is to make sure it gets to, you know, you donate to Brother Sean, you know, $5,000, and you're like, hey man, make sure 2,500 go to Brother Hasan. And okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you put that note in there. If not, then it's just, you know, hey bro, it's 5,000. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate, and I'm very thankful and grateful for those of you that are supportive, right? In that fashion, because you guys know we don't punch a clock for anyone else. We're not working somewhere for someone else. So we putting all our energy into this here and making sure everything needs to be done how things need to be done, so that we can
Me, bro. Exalted Cyclops.
Exalted Cyclops.
Islam, peace and love. Peace and love.
Islam, broski. So with that being said, guys, we just, you know, we would like for you guys to really make sure you you know, continue to support us. Like I said, we work for no one, and you know, your support is needed, is paramount, you know, because, you know, I know thinking about having to, in order to beat them, join them until you can beat them, is just, that's definitely something we're not looking forward to contemplating nor doing. It's like, well, let's just go and work for these people for, you know, until other things come in, you know. So we trust that people will begin to value what it is that we have more and contribute, you know, more to I and Brother Sean specifically, because I know we're in the forefront, you know, as far as this concern, and you guys are seeing us every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right, as well as those of you that are part of Lawful Living, you know, get your concept correction discussions, you know, with us also, you know, those that see us on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at Lawful Living. And then you guys know on Saturdays, we're still having the Universally Professional Astrology Community, TUPAC. All righty. And we're still letting you guys know, for a lifetime membership, you bring a buddy, you and your buddy give $125 each, because lifetime membership is really $250 for one. However, you bring a buddy, bring your friend, right? Bring a loved one, and you can have both of you there for a lifetime for $250. All right. Or that's $125 each. All right. So that's what we are looking forward to you guys enjoying with us. You will not be disappointed, because us being Moorish Americans, we are the only ones qualified to do those things. Exalted Cyclops, you wanted to say something before we go out, man? Before we do our closeout for this Intuition Moon Day?
Islam, no, I was just trying to rap to the bros after y'all close.
Okay, yeah, that works, man. We'll definitely do that. I'll you know, close out and reopen right after we're complete. All righty. So, guys, questions, comments, and/or suggestions going once. Thank you all in the chat for joining us. JLV says, Moon Day greetings, Brother Sean and Hasan and everyone. Indeed. Brother Corey said in the chat, arrangement per agenda. Oh, okay, I'm just seeing that, Brother Corey. Hey, yo, that's so funny he said that, because he's speaking about the Oprah Stedman connection, and it's like, yeah, is it an arrangement per agenda? Like, and it makes a lot of sense, bro. What made you say that, brother?
I just kind of always kind of intuitively had that vibe, and then as y'all were, I wasn't even looking at the chart. I'm just listening to y'all interpretation of the synastry, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of confirming my intuition, particularly with brother Sean, he kept, it's like right after I said that, it's right when he was like, oh, maybe this guy was the leader of some group or something. And I'm like, exactly. Because, we don't play that game of colors or, so-called dark skin, light skin or whatever. But some people do play that game, and I can see how Stud Man might fit that role as a
He's stud man. Hey, yo, that's hilarious, bro. Nah, but yeah, man, because it's really odd, triple water trinity with a fire air trinity, and it's like, what's that?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Who's the BDSM? Who's the one that's the dominant one in control there? Like, what is happening there? It's funny because it might be Stedman, actually.
That's what I'm saying. Oh God, no! Oh no!
it might be him, actually. It's like, he's got the water trinity. He's chill. This man being full leather chaps with the ass out, talking about like with the leather strap. Let me stop. Yo.
Give it to me, baby. Give it to me,
Oprah
baby.
be like, you get no.
Yo, just like, wow, man. That's what I said. Wait, just watch how this year unfolds, especially within the next 3 years as far as the Fedaria is concerned. And really just paying attention to, like I said, the main thing that stood out to me overall for this Intuition Monday is the deprivation of women and children. And I'm telling you, when y'all see what comes to the forefront, you'll see. You'll see. You'll see. You'll see how on point 7HealStar really is before shit happens. And I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, they did it again. How am I doing this? You know what I mean? That's what's gonna happen. What you say, bro?
I said, and another one.
Yeah, indeed.
Oprah donates all her life proceedings to charity for women and children. You're like, why is she doing that? Didn't I watch the presentation?
7HealStar called it. It is what it is. Mother Sahar says hilarious. Yeah, I know, right? Mother Sahar, like, seriously. But all righty. Questions, comments, and no suggestions going twicket twiz eyes. Brother Sean.
I'm good. Y'all show up, show some love and donate.
Hey, yo, that literally comes out of your hands, bro. Like, that is hilarious. Mother Sahara says, yes, let it all come to light, right? Questions, comments, and or suggestions going thrice. As always, this is where I and Brother Sean say, be yourselves and donate. Absolutely. On behalf of 7HealStar, I am Brother Hasan Ghazi Obeys, Brother Sean Ali Mel. On behalf of the Exalted Cyclops, Brother Corey Bay, Brother Terrell Tamari Bay with the sauce, and Brother Armawala Bay. Is where we tell you guys when you go to eat well, get your victuals that make you feel great, however, also does great for your body, makes you feel healthy and moving great and growing, right? And adding to your energy. And when you go to rest and recharge well. This is where we say to y'all, we love you all. Namaste. 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 Islam, 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 y'all. Peace and love.